everybody. I'm here on behalf of Czech National Node of BBMNI Eric. It's biobanking and biomolecular research infrastructure in the Czech Republic. And together with my colleagues, we are now focused on data and IT within the National Node. From this perspective, I will just first explain the whole consortium and then go to our activities within the National Node and explain how does it work here in the Czech Republic. So, the research infrastructure as itself is huge, so yeah, it's quite a big consortium with 18 members. I think there are a bit differences in our slide because you saw this slide already at the beginning. And here are 6 observers. Here is newly Slovakia, and the Czech Republic is a member state for quite a long time. Within the Czech infrastructure, there is a Masaryk Memorial Cancer Institute, so-called Masarykův onkologický ústav in Brno, which is the coordinator of the National Node. There are other members from Charles University, from Prague. These are Faculty of Medicine in Prague, Hradec Králové, and here in Plzni. Other partner from the consortium in Czech Republic is Institute of Molecular and Transnational Medicine in Olomouc, and newly we have a Rheumatology, Institute of Rheumatology in Prague, and Institute of Hematology will, together with Masaryk University residents, will be our partners in next period of the project. So, we as the biobanks, as the research infrastructure, we offer some services and we can help you if you are already skilled to, you know what is biobank and you want to have your own biobank, we can support you within the Czech Republic or maybe other countries as well, because we are involved in many international projects. So the biobanking is about quite ethical, legal, social issues, LC services. I don't know. So it's about the LC services where BBMRI Eric is very well established. They have knowledge base, some help desk where you can ask your questions. There is an ethical check, webinars, training, and they are taking part of Code of Conduct for Health Research. From the quality management services, there are many of these and quite huge support to the biobankers. There's again some knowledge hub, trainings, auditing, you can ask for audit, and there is a quality assurance from the consortium to their requesters that the samples are good quality, or best quality. Policy stakeholders, the stakeholders are usually patients and citizens who are the donors of the samples. There are scientific societies as the requesters mostly, and the industry, which we are now trying to cooperate as much as possible. But again, the LC issues are still there. From the educational perspective, we are focused mostly on cancer, rare diseases, currently on COVID-19, and for building prospective collections. As I'm involved mostly in the IT services and the research around, we are involved in several cooperation within the consortium, and there are several tools already quite established for researchers applying for the samples and for the biobankers. We have BBMI Eric directory, which is a catalog where you can find samples and biobanks, especially biobanks of your interest, who are most probably having the samples you need. There is a federated search platform, a very new platform establishing in these days. And we have a negotiator, which is a tool for communication between the both sides and the requesters and the biobankers. From the data perspective, there should be some deposition offered, data pooling. If you have good quality samples, you can have good quality data, so that we are focused on the data, focusing more and more. We we offer some kind of virtual cohorts building, which is quite not so established service, but with the adopt cohort for CRC, for colorectal cancer, it was first try, a very difficult one, but we believe that there will be more and more such cohorts that you will come and say, I want 10,000 samples from this diagnosis, and whole consortium across the European countries will just bring samples and data to you. And for the interoperability, we have several international standards followed and developing as well, better understanding in between us. Data protection, access control, quality control, reusability, or the FAIR principles. I don't know how much verification is impacting your work. Not so speak about it. So back to the sample donor. I just wanted to speak about personalized medicine. How does it work within the biobank and the consortium? So citizen, the person, the donor of the sample, it can be healthy or diseased person. Going diagnosed with some disease, going to a doctor, and can be participant of the study. And from the biobank perspective, it's again the donor. So we ask him for informed consent that we can provide the data and the samples mainly for the further research. So on the other side, there is the researcher just thinking what should be improved, what can be done better for the citizens to be more healthy. It's usually employee for some institution or company, yeah, the firma. So he or she aims to prevention, detection, and mainly to treatment, improvement, and of course from our perspective, from the biobank perspective, is the requester of the sample and data. In the middle of these activities or requester donor, there's the biobank focusing on the best quality data, samples in the first manner, and providing rich data sets to the samples, which is very useful for the researchers, of course, to be sure that they are working with good quality material. So the biobank collects samples, data, and then push it to our directory, which so long-term preservation and many medical research biobanks. And from once the biobank pushes the data to the directory, the catalog, the researcher can go through it. You can see it's like filtering on the left side and the biobanks and their collections on the right side. Once you decide which collections you want, you just check and go further to negotiate. So currently there are collections about 1,871 collections within 626 biobanks, several networks, and highly aggregated data in the catalog. This catalog is then connected to another tool, which is a negotiator, the communication platform for biobankers and the researchers, and it provides advantage when you want to communicate with more than one biobank, so you don't have to use email, but you can have everything in the negotiator for the biobank performance indicators as well. It's very useful to have everything on one place. So once the negotiation between the biobanker is done, the agreement is signed, and the sample and data are delivered together with the material and data transfer agreement. Everything is pushed to the researcher, and the researcher starts. So once the research results are going to be published, somehow the biobank is asking the researcher about returns data to the biobank. We offer, hopefully in future it will be quite usual service or usual cooperation between researchers and biobanks, that we offer to store the data for the samples, and that they they will promise when we provide them the data, and no data but the samples, they give us back the data. And we will store the data, we will have big data storages for huge whole slide images or sequencing data or other genomic, some, I don't know what can be, some radiology or whatever, what the research results are, that we can store it. So the biobanks will move to the more virtual environment, because as you heard, the samples and take care about the good quality samples, it's quite expensive. So we believe that the data will be rich and a lot of them. Finally, we are between the research results going back to the citizens and to have better treatment, and we can cooperate with the pharma companies to provide better drugs and this kind of stuff. So this is the circle closed here. So currently we are working on the federated search of data and samples, which is a platform focused more on the donor and sample information. The directory was the catalog with biobanks and the collections, and now we are going deeper in the information. You can have more a deeper insight in the samples you are asking from the biobank. So it's part of a broader ecosystem, whole IT infrastructure. It should be vendor neutral, so it's mainly about standards and the interoperability in between the services and the information systems in hospitals and in the biobank, and the biobank, when they are collecting the 10,000 samples for the whole European cohort, they need to understand each other, as was said already. So it's about interoperability and interfaces between each of these tools involved. Again, directory is very important here, and the federated platform should help us as the biobankers to have up-to-date data in the directory, again offering the data we have and samples. Here are a little bit about the FAIR principles, because the infrastructure here is that you have directory at the beginning, there is authentication and authorization infrastructure as the upper layer of whole infrastructure, so that we know who is visiting our services, who is asking the questions and asking for the samples. Then there is the negotiator as the quite central tool for connection between biobanker and the requester, negotiating about exact requests. And there is a sample locator, which is the federated search tool for the biobanks. There is a local component called bridgehead somehow. It's not important, but it's the local component, and the sample locator is the central component. So you have your local database in the biobank, you harmonize the data, you map it to the standard formats, and then you upload it to the local component of the federated platform. And then there is a query asked within the locator by the requester, and the local component is able to pull down the query and answer the query, so that you can get a lot of information from several biobanks at one moment. From the FAIR principles, it's for findability is directory, accessibility it's negotiator, interoperability is the locator, and for the reusability is the good quality data and samples. We harmonize to HL7 FAIR standard. So to prepare, the biobanks now are preparing their data for the local component to be ready to use from the outside, and it's like the extract, transform and load of the data. So once the request come from the requester that there should be cooperation between more than one biobank, it's very useful to have data prepared in these standards. It's look like it's open source solution now from Germany, from the Kfz. It's that should crop. No, I don't know. No. So it's the Kfz cooperation between GBA, German Biobank Association, and these developers. And now you can see in locator that it's one of the possible resources you are asking for the samples. You can ask for diagnosis, or there is an age at the diagnosis of the donor, and then you get some results. Currently there is a Brno Biobank, Masaryk Memorial Cancer Institute already involved, and Prague Faculty of Medicine in Prague involved. And we are working currently on next biobanks to be connected. Data catalog, it's about, again, about standardization, data cleaning, and data processing and offering. So we need to have the data in understandable way, providing. And here we cooperate with BBMRI NL, Netherlands, biobanking molecular resources. So Morgenis software usage, which was used for directory, we can now use for our catalog of sequence data and for the whole slide images as well. And we are currently trying to map the data to the standards and link them through the hospital system and the laboratory system with the pseudonyms and trying to put them in one pipeline to provide you as the requesters all the data sets we have for sample. So this is the end. As a summary and take-home message, as the national note, we can offer you some services and our expert knowledge. So if you are a biobanker who needs help, or the researcher, to the researchers we can help to design their projects. To the biobankers we can help with their LZ or other IT data stuff. Of course, when you go to our pages, you can see all the services there. So from the biospecimen perspective, we offer high quality material types and diagnosis, plenty of diagnosis. As I said, there is the directory, the catalog, and donor and sample level locator. Then we have the communication tool called Negotiator, where you can use your credentials from your institution, so you just use it under your identity. We know who is asking the questions or the requests, and you know to who you are speaking. And there are the data collections, cleaning and provision, and the data catalog we are building now. So we are prepared for all your requests and questions. Thank you.